Hello! Today I want to talk to you about flea markets, and I want to share a bit my own journey as a flea market person, because I feel like it's really here in Paris that I discovered what kind of flea market person I am, and this is a recent discovery. Luckily I have a friend that is a very vetted and experienced flea marketer, and I dabbled here and there visiting flea markets, but my problem was always that I was looking at stuff but I never really had anything specific in mind. And here in Paris, I feel like it took me a long time also until I kind of found items that I was specifically looking for at flea markets as well. And then by visiting more professional, bigger flea markets that really were intended for people to come and source antiques for their boutiques, that is how I found more specific items that I now keep looking for more and more and more. And so I want to share my 5 things that you should also not miss when visiting flea markets. The first item that you should definitely look for is vintage embroidered bed sheets, tablecloths, pillow covers, fabric napkins and tissues like they did back in the day, and anything to do with bedding or tableware, table sets. Back in the day, these were really valuable goods, and the merchants that sell this today, they have really good products. They're all kind of embroidered, they all have sometimes they also have some kind of like embroidered lace work. That's not so much my style, but the embroidery I really don't mind. And they're in mint condition because the fabrics are usually really heavy. Like, forget about the whatever it costs to have Egyptian cotton and whatever like thread count. Go to the flea market. I bought a really big, I feel like I guess it's like 2.40 meters by 3 meters. I bought this to cover the box spring of my bed. And it has like a nice embroidery on the bottom. And it looks so good. It's really heavy, made out of linen, and all these products, I also bought the pillowcases, yeah, because I found 4 identical ones, and I bought like 4 for 40 euros, I think. And it's really heavy cotton, so it's such valuable goods are the old fabrics. People will not look for this. At flea markets, I've observed people never go to where the fabrics are. And I find it a bit weird because they're so good. Second thing you should look for are 50s table lamps and sconces. On the last flea market that I went, it was very professional, very professionally done. I found this dude. I realized that he has a shop like not so far from where I live. I mean, let me show you his website. His website is really shitty, don't expect much, but I'm gonna link it below. He has, oh my god, like the lamps, they're so good. The sconces especially, such good vintage design. 1960s, what do we have? 1986, okay, that's very 80s, but it's still good. Has the 80s vibe. 50s, 60s. And then I realized that, okay, like I'm not looking for all the Rococo kind of Louis XIV, very heavily decorated and gold plated, whatever. I'm not into that kind of stuff. And this is what they mainly sell at the flea markets. And this is why I guess I was kind of overwhelmed, or I didn't know what I was looking for, because this is all they had. But then discovering this merchant, I realized that this is totally my style, 50s lamps, and that's something to really keep an eye out, because then here, for example, this guy, he also cites the designer, and then you can also more specifically look for a certain designer of a certain period. This one with the perforated metal, it's a dream. I guess this would also be a professional that could help you out with if you find something at a flea market and it's not in a good shape, or you know, the electricity, like the wires are not working anymore. I guess this is also a professional that could advise you and help you to get it back to its original functional state. What else does he have? He's got very good clocks as well. I'm not looking for a clock right now, but you never know. He's also got furniture. Oh my god, this chair is so good. And he also, he also puts the fairs that he exhibits at. In this one, the Foire de Château, this is the one I went to. And you just take the train, the overground, towards Versailles. And they even have like a little shuttle that takes you to the fair. It's going on for 2 weeks. It's twice a year. It's a really, really good one. The Foire de Château, I think why it's good is also because not so many people go there. Since it's not in town, you know, it keeps the not so passionate crowd away. Only the hardcore people go there. Oh my god, like the table lamps, they're to die for. They are to die for. So good, see? And I mean, I think it's fair. It's a fair price. This is what you would probably pay for a new lamp as well. I think the one from, what is it, like Flo's or like Hey, they easily cost 200-300 euros and everybody has them. So I guess to me, it's always better to source something vintage, but pay the same price as if you bought something new. First of all, it doesn't lose the resale value. It likely goes up if you keep it in good condition, if you maintain it. If you buy a lamp from Hey and it costs 200-300 euros, it easily drops half of its value the moment you receive it and unpack it. Let's be honest. Okay, that was a little excursion to the 50s, 60s, mid-century modern, call it what you want, lamps, and what you also should look for. And this is what I found a lot in the south of France. It was Glassware, and it was like 3 brands that I found a lot. It was Murano, so Murano, everybody knows, really good for, in French it's called vide poche, like a little bowl that you have at the entrance and you know, whatever stuff you have, you just leave it at the door. Then there is a brand called Daume. They have little bowls with mini spoons for salt and pepper. And I feel if you buy a special type of salt, you want to leave it on the table, it's a really nice way to present it rather than, you know, have it like in a package and like, it's more classy. It's classy if you have like a special thing, like special salt, you need a special kind of salt bowl. And Daume is more known for organic shapes and fluid. I think it's quite nice. And then of course there is Baccarat. And Baccarat, they're more, I guess it's a bit more intricate. They have a lot of relief. It's a bit more shiny, a bit more blingy in a way. But again, if you find them on vintage markets or flea markets, sometimes people sell those and they don't even know what they're selling. So keep an eye out for those. I think it's also good for inspiration, because I found one of those little salt bowls and I specifically wanted the ones with the mini spoon. There is a mini glass spoon that comes with it. And obviously they sell them as a pair. And I wasn't really sure if I wanted 2 of them. I was just looking for an individual one. And the lady, it was an antique shop, so she knew what she was selling. It was really well presented, and she wanted 150 euros for both, and I was just not really in the market that day to buy something random like that in a way for 150 euros. But I knew the brand, I knew what the product was, and then I immediately went online and I was looking on vintage websites if I couldn't like find it for cheaper. And lo and behold, I found those little vintage salt things, 2 of them, for 35 euros. So even for inspiration, it's really good because then you know specifically what you're looking for, and it's likely that you can also find it online. Another thing that I discovered is really worth the search and the sourcing is ceramics. But again, I'm not talking about, those really decorated ceramics that have a lot of intricate detail or are very figurative. I'm not really into that. I'm discovering about myself that apparently I'm a 50s, 60s kind of design person, and I wasn't so aware of that because I don't necessarily defend the mid-century modern furniture trend. I like contemporary design. I like different things from different eras. And so I'm not like a one design period kind of person that I'm a ride or die for. And in the south of France, when I was in Nice, I discovered one artist specifically that I thought was very timeless in a way. The way that he painted his ceramics is beautifully done. The artist's name that I'm talking about is Roger Picot. I didn't know of him before, and there was a lady in Nice and she had wonderful stuff. And it was original to him, and it was just a great selection. The way she presented it was very professional. And so visually, I could immediately picture some of his items. You dress up a table and immediately has this homely quality, and it's not so delicate. And I feel like with a lot of stuff that you find at the flea market that is very figurative, you wouldn't necessarily use it in a day-to-day life. I guess you should. But his ceramics, I found playful, and I found visually very, very nice and summery and just happy. Now that I've done a bit of like research, because if you have like one specific name, this then also gives you a clue and then you can further research. And now it makes more sense now that I've researched a bit, because he is from a town in the south of France. Apparently, Pablo Picasso also worked in the same town and also has produced some ceramics at that time. Then there is another one. His name is Georges Jouve, and he is known for modernist forms and signature black glazes. So it really gives you an extensive list and idea of other artists. So I think I'm gonna look at all of them because now I'm intrigued. The last thing that I want, especially for women, the last thing that I wanna tell you to buy at flea markets is, it's tying back to the tablecloths and bedding, but in the same quality at flea markets, they often sell cotton nightgowns. And I have already purchased 2 because for the summer, they're the best. And they're like really flowy. I don't buy the ones with the sleeves because not yet, maybe I will in the winter, or haven't really found a piece that has convinced me. But it's an easy thing to buy. I bought the one just with the 2 straps. It's a very easy design. It's just 2 straps and then it's basically just a flowy rectangle. And in my experience, this was the best purchase ever because it's really good cotton, like thick, like sturdy. And there is no better feeling than in the summer you come back from a really hot day and in the evening you take your shower, ice cold shower, you open up the windows, there is a light breeze, you put on this tiny little flowy nightgown, you feel free, you feel good in your body, you feel good in your skin. And those are not so difficult to find. I found them already in Paris and I also bought one in the south of France. The only thing that I also have to add with those cotton gowns or with those cotton things in general, to keep them really white, to keep them from yellowing, you need to maintain them. So you also need to add, you know, whatever it is in your country, like baking soda or something. Sometimes you even have to boil them to make them white again. I don't have the luxury of like a garden, but back in the day they just hung it outside. And since the sun is a natural bleaching agent, this helps. So if you live in the countryside, just hang them outside, hang them in the sun. But if you live in the city, then you just help yourself out a little bit. But I guess those indications you can easily find on ChatGPT as well. So that was it for today for my little flea marketing guide. As I said, you know, I am still on this kind of journey. Let me know what your experience is and what you buy or hunt for on flea markets, because I think my tip would be, if you go on a flea market, look for one specific thing to keep your eye out. I feel visually you get so distracted by the amount of stuff there is. So look for, I don't know, for example, a candle holder or a salt shaker. What I'm still looking for is a butter dish. I still haven't bought one. And I have a little list, things that I know that I need, and I can take my time with finding them. So let me know. I'm really curious because this is, as I said, an ongoing journey for me, and you always learn so much from other people because everybody has their little strategies or their little tips and tricks. So I hope I could share some of mine, and I see you next time.